Hey everyone, you're listening to Athletes Beyond the Mind, a sports psychology and mental training podcast. Athletes Beyond the Mind is brought to you by Close the Gate Hoops and Close the Gate Hoops Mindset. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to Athletes Beyond the Mind. This week I'm going to do something a little bit different. One, it's going to be a shorter video. And two, I'm not going to be talking about a mental skill or a technique to use. This week I really want to talk about why I do this work so you know a little bit more about me, who you're listening to every week or reading the blogs, who's writing them, and also just so you kind of understand where I'm coming from and that this isn't something I just talk about, that it's something that's important to me as well. So yeah, who am I? First of all, my name's Kathryn, and I know I've said that before, but still, my name's Kathryn Colby, and I am from Wisconsin, so a Midwest girl at heart. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really start doing all of this work or really understanding the importance of it until I went to grad school, if I'm gonna be completely honest. I would like to say that this has always been something I've been good at or that I found important, but I didn't really know much about it, and I definitely didn't really do it. So when I went to grad school, I was part of a program where I learned about athletic counseling and mental health counseling and how those kind of interweave and how it's all about connecting and learning about the whole person, because we all are more than one thing. So I was at that program. I learned a lot about what would have been nice to have as I was an athlete, and learning about these skills and learning about the techniques would have been great. But even just knowing that someone cared more about who I was as an athlete, and my parents are great, and they always talked about making me a well-rounded human. I wasn't just an athlete. But having a coach or having these skills available where I learned for myself that I was more than just one thing, and that growing my mindset and this mental training would help me in a lot of aspects in my life, in my career, in my athletics, and even my school. And even just the relationships I have. If I had learned these skills, it would have been really awesome for me, because I think I would have gotten here even quicker, and I would have been able to help even more people than I already have. But I love this work, and I love teaching you all and talking about these mental skills and these different techniques you can try, and that you're starting at a younger age, or even whether you're starting in college and grad school, that's fine too. But the fact that you're starting now and you're developing these skills, that's why I do that work, why I do this work. It's because I want to pass on what I've learned and help you all train too as well to improve your mindset, and how that transitions to your sport, to your life, to your schooling, to your family, to your friends, that list could go on and on. I think it's so important to learn what works just for you as well. You can read a book and it will give you a ton of information, and those books are great. But learning that individual aspect of, what do I need? What's on my mind? How can I improve my communication? How can I improve my ability to focus? How can I improve just understanding myself and my teammates? How can I learn how to regulate my emotions? And those are just some examples of topics we've done or are doing. But all of that's important, because it's not just in one aspect. And I always talk about becoming this awesome human, because being an athlete, being a student, that's only two small parts of who you are. Now, if you become a professional athlete, that's still awesome, but that's still only a part of who you are. You're all these other things too, and those are just as important, and just as important to have mindset training on, and understanding how your mindset and your mental training play a role in those aspects as well. So that's a little bit of why I do this work. Why I work with CTG Mindset or Close the Gate is because they push that message. It has always been about more than just being a good basketball player. It's been about learning the skills and learning how those transition to other aspects of your life. And I think that's a great message, because you never know what could happen in your life. You could get an injury where now you're not able to play for a little bit or forever. You maybe decide you don't have time for this sport anymore, or you want to focus on something else, which is all valid and totally okay. but what type of human being and what type of mindset are you going to have outside of your sport? And that's what's really important, and what's great about CTG Mindset, Close the Gate in general, and really why I work for this company and this group is because that's the focus they have, is that it's not just about your one identity of being an athlete, it's about creating and understanding how to become this awesome, well-rounded human. So yeah, I know this is a little bit different aspect, but I think it's important for you all to know the voice or the person behind the voice, the person behind the videos, things like that. And yeah, so please reach out with any questions. I know I say this pretty often, but it's all about creating those relationships. And so if you just have questions about mental training, what those sessions look like, or we're hoping to offer some team sessions or more series as we develop these things, if you're interested in those too or what those could look like, reach out. It's whether you're a coach or a player, it's okay to ask questions. You're not expected to know everything. If you did, then what would be the point of us doing this sort of thing? So please reach out for questions. Keep up with our newsletter to get different things to you, sent to you, the blogs, the podcasts, the lead magnets we have, things like that, and learning about the products that will become available as well. So yeah, reach out with any questions, or if you just want to know more about what these things look like, or if you're like, I would like this topic to be talked about, or I'm struggling with this, is there anything you can answer about that? We would love to do that. So thank you all for listening this week, and I promise next week we'll be back to a typical type of topic, and see you, or I guess talk to you then. Thank you all for listening to Athletes Beyond the Mind, a mental skills and sports psychology podcast. Please follow us on all social media at CTG Mindset.